you go. Hi, my name is Sant. We've got another presentation of Friends of Queen's Market. This is 94.0 Revive FM. Please lock in and have a good listen. Now, if anybody wants to join in, you can join in. You could have our email, maybe, if you can get through a switchboard. Let's try it. But, you know, we want engagement. We want engagement two-way. So, you know, if you ever feel you want to leave us a message, you can do that. Now, I have three people with me today, which are Friends of Queen's Market, and they'll introduce themselves to you. From yours.
Oh, I'm from East Ham. I'm a local shopper. Well, I'm new, actually. I'm pretty new. I've only been in East Ham 11 years.
That's not new. That's not new.
I wanted to be the new boy.
No, we wear you in quickly.
I'm Khadija. I'm a local filmmaker from Stratford.
Fantastic.
I'm Pauline. I've been shopping at the market for 55 years.
55 years.
And and I'm healthy as a result.
We don't believe it.
We could do with some of that advice that you might probably have bottled somewhere. Okay, what it is, the theme today, we're going to try to keep it on a very positive note. But before we do that, like everything else, I like to get my bad news out of the way first. So what I'm going to ask for is any updates. Have we any updates from the previous time we was here of what's happening in the market and what's not happening in the market, or, you know, communication with management or what have you, and councillors? Do we have anything that we could add to anything?
As regards the dodgy lighting in the market, traders, public, we're pegging away, but we haven't got anywhere yet. And questions are being asked up at the Greater London Assembly because they put up the money for the lighting. We're not quite sure where all that money went, but there you go.
How's the painting going?
Oh, they have done some painting at the top of the shops around the market that looks quite pretty. I think it's stopped, but that's something. The building at the front of the market seems to be going on and on and on, which is a bit of a shame because traders and public are being messed up.
Where they knocked the stalls down at the front of the market?
Yep. Yes, where it's boarded up at the front.
Is there any sign of new stalls, or
what was happening at the front anyway?
There were two big stalls that people called canopies, and they were pulled down because allegedly the market is going to have a really shiny, beautiful new front to it.
Okay.
So they took the old stalls down at the front of the market and boarded up the market at the front. I mean, there is a way in. Mm-hmm. And it seems to be, the work seems to be going on and on and on, and traders are being moved around. But there we are. Everybody's pushing, asking when will the work be done. So I'm sure it'll be done sometime.
What the council say? When's that work going to be completed? Before Christmas, or?
I don't think it's going to be before Christmas. Last time they were asked.
Oh dear, because Christmas is a really, really busy time.
It's a busy time.
The market will still be busy at Christmas. You know, it will be busy.
But that works that's going on. Just meant to be an update, really. But that works that's going on in the front on the canopy. Does it have any detrimental effect from its actual visual impact from outside? Does it still look as if it's functioning, you know, behind that screening? Does it look as if it's busy behind it? Does it give that? Is there any impression that the market's closing or anything like that? I mean, you know, because it does seem to screen quite a lot of that space, you know, that would have normally given it a very wide berth in vision, you know, visual impact. I mean, does it still, you know, is it deterring the traders in any shape or form?
I would say it looks closed.
Yeah.
When I went there on the high street from the front, you wouldn't know the market's still open. Obviously, there's like some stalls in the back.
Yeah.
I also wasn't a fan of the paint job because like it was a really, really good opportunity.
Paint by numbers.
To do something that would like represent everybody socially. You could have used some really cool South Asian patterns, African prints, or white working class, iconic patterns as well. Could have fused them together, and they just kind of picked some bright colours and said, "Yeah, that's Newham," and it's like, oh, there's so much more there.
Do you reckon do you reckon it brought any sort of cultural impact forward from that sort of?
No, I think it was an opportunity to show like the cultural fusion visually in like an interesting and creative way, and they kind of just did it as easiest and
I think they missed
as
it.
they could. Yeah, they missed the boat on that.
They missed the boat.
Yeah,
I mean, that's normally.
Yeah, a paint job could have looked good.
Yeah, I think a little bit of brightening up, is good for everybody. But that they really did miss the point on that. Really, I mean, especially when you could put different flags up there. You could put different, colours make a difference. Especially when you just got a bland grey concrete, like structure. So yeah, I would have thought that they would have done a lot more on that. So anything to do with flooring? Any improvement on the flooring? Any updates on the flooring? No. So okay, so really we haven't really moved any further really on that. So we're going to leave it on that because it could get depressing. We don't really want to do that.
Just remind everybody the market is open and it's very busy. Please come along. Plenty of bargains.
No, there is, and there will be, I think, a sort of great build up with a lot of the traders. It happens every year, so running up to Christmas. So, and I think we need to be supporting them in any shape or form when we go there. Normally, shopping and a good smile and a good conversation that normally carries a trader miles. So, we should support the market in any way whatsoever and ignore the so-called barriers that are put up there. Hopefully we'll get there, they'll start pulling their finger out and move a bit faster on that. Okay, so on lighting, was the lighting ever improved? Did we get what we wanted from the lighting? Did the traders get what they wanted from the lighting? Did it go anywhere?
Not yet, but I mean, everybody's pushing. Traders are pushing. Friends of Queen's Market's pushing.
Yeah.
Councillors, the independents, raised it with the council and we're told the lighting is adequate for the highways, for a public highway. And the independents...
Well, it's not a public highway though, it's a market.
That's what
exactly ridiculous
what
thing to
said.
say, public highway.
That's
public highways are normally opened. We've got a roof over that market, how could you apply the same sort of rule? So, okay, so we still got an issue on that, so on the lighting itself. So what can we add on that? So lighting, we're not really moved much further. The painting could do it a lot more better, sort of, I don't know.
They should have talked to the public, talked to the traders, and people would have given them loads of ideas to do interesting artwork. Wouldn't have cost them anything.
That's a fantastic idea. Why didn't they do a competition?
Yeah,
they could have got the children involved.
That could have been really, really fun.
Do you not think so? That would have been much more inclusive. You could have got schools to do it. Could have done a bit of a prize, and they could have put it actually up there. I think that's another option that was left out. So yeah, I mean, just I don't.
Because you want to involve people. This market belongs to everyone, and
it's got a cool history as well. Like that used to be old record shops. That used to be, old calves, like greasy spoon calves. You could have used like the tablecloths from the old greasy spoons as patterns. It's very easy, fun, creative things if you just ask the people. But I think they had the idea that we like it, they'll like it.
But so they even missed that bit of engagement as well. So they could have got people involved, could have got children involved, could have got schools involved. And I suppose the market could have done some sort of prize.
People doing art at Newham College.
Yeah.
And even if they didn't want to get people involved for whatever reason, they could have done research.
Well, we went into Apricot, and Apricot do a display in their exhibition for
local
artists.
Yeah.
And they could have put a sign up saying that we need local young artists and give a sort of an age, and then they could be presented there, and that could have actually been put on a wall. I think that would have been a fantastic idea that they actually missed out on. So much for community engagement. I just want to, I'm going to shift away slightly without shifting away too much. I want to ask a sort of question that that's put up quite a few times. If I say to you that the market is always going to stay, what does that imply to you? How would you say that? What do you think about that? I tell you, no matter what happens to the side, the market's going to stay.
Well, the council's two options for the market do show a space for the stalls, definitely. But the market is much more than a handful of stalls. And don't forget, one stall can count as a market. We've got the Kelland Road Market in Plaistow, which is just that, one stall, but it's officially a market.
I agree.
So the market is the shops. And the market only works because the traders have got a very big storage space called the compound. Lots of problems with it, but it is somewhere to store their stuff so that they can buy bulk and pass on the cheap prices. So when we look at the two options, they've got ideas of taking away the compound, taking away the shops, building flats, which would, the way things are going, be luxury flats. So then there's another problem. Can anybody give us an example of luxury flats, some of them costing $500,000, bang next door to a street market? And we've asked the council this, and up and down the country, we don't think there's any example. Because I tell you what, if I paid $500,000 for my luxury flat, I wouldn't want to be woken up.
That'd be a one-bed flat.
People, but yeah,
For
I wouldn't want to be woken up by people shouting "pound a bowl," disturbing my beautiful champagne-fueled sleep. You know?
Yeah. Khadija, you've done a film. When you knit something like a market together, when you crochet something like that over years and years and years and years.
Over 100 years.
Yeah.
How do you unravel that and then expect it to be put back together again? How do you get that intertwining of market, people, and surrounding shops? And not just on that space, but other shops across the road, because they benefit from the footfall. How do we do that? How can anybody recreate that?
I think like markets are like a really delicate ecosystem. It's not just about like cheap food. Like obviously they're a social space, and you know, like the businesses on Green Street probably buy their produce at the market. That keeps their businesses going, as well as young school kids after school. Like it's more than just a place where people shop. And I think that when people act like, oh, we can just knock it down, and the cultural organic legacy of the last 129 years is just gonna pop up out of nowhere, I think they know that that's not going to happen. But for them, like cultural eradication, it's just not on the top of their priority list. Like I think saying that they can knock it down and then rebuild it with the same cultural legacy that it already has is ridiculous. And I think we can tell, even us talking about the paint job and them putting forward ideas like a creative well-being space, when we know they won't engage with the creative people of the local creative people. So I think it can't be done. I've not seen an example of something that is destroyed in this way and something better is replaced, because I think Queen's Market is just authentic. It's a place that authentically has culture, and I don't think that's something that you can buy or you can fund in the same way. I think it's literally the people that make it. And if you choose profit over them, then the culture disappears as well.
It does, and it gets replaced with something that doesn't resemble a culture, because a culture takes many, many years to develop and intertwine. What was the phrase you used? Organic legacy.
Oh, like the cultural legacy, but I feel like the market is
cultural organic legacies, and I thought that was a fantastic phrase, and it should be used. That these sort of terms should be used, and people need to be using this out there, because that's what it is. It's an organic culture. It's organically grown. It's not something that you could actually take from a shelf and plant it somewhere. It just doesn't happen. So that was So from your aspect, how can I'm going to throw this out there? They had, I think, it's the Black History, and they was talking about, I think it's called the Black Pound, and they were going to hold it at Rathbone Street Market. Now, I can understand.
There isn't a market in Rathbone.
And that's what I was coming to. So how do we explain that? Culturally, we suppressed a legacy of people, in our culture. And now we're trying to revive it in a sense. We're trying to talk about the historical context of that culture, whether it's about black culture, whatever. Right, and then we're trying to do that, which we're struggling, and we're doing it in a place that we've actually got rid of a market.
Yeah.
But so what we're doing, it's not organic. So we're trying to make things fit, and I don't think it can. I'm not sure what you think about that, because you're trying to hold something that represents something in a place that has been not represented. It's been dissolved. It's been got rid of.
Been destroyed.
It's been destroyed. How do we?
Canning Town's been gentrified. They're trying to ethnically cleanse the working class out.
Yeah, even though I'm a fan of like schemes like the Black Pound Day and things like that, I think there's alternative ways of including different cultural people into when it comes to entrepreneurship. I think we spoke about it here, like bringing school kids in so that they can tell their idea and test out their stuff, and maybe during Black History Month making sure that demographic is covered. I think I would have had that in Queen's Market. Yeah, much more relevant. Because we have all sorts of people, shades of people, exchanging transactional issues, whatever going on, and they would have learned from that. And they said, "Our pound carries weight, carries everything." But yeah, I absolutely totally agree. I mean, they should have considered it as another thing that's been missed. And I think there wasn't enough engagement with the people, on that side as well. So it seems like the council seems to have this history of missing options, putting things right, and maybe putting things in context. So, and they could have used the Queen's Market as more than just a backdrop in a later times, So, I mean, Rathbone Street is nothing there. 4 stalls do not make the market. So, unless they wanted to do that in a car park, that would have been the right place to do it. And that's our concern, isn't it? That when people say the market will stay, the market will always be there, that they mean 2 to 4 stalls. Yeah. And that they are kind of taking advantage of like how we think. Yeah. Because when we think market, we think of the whole thing. We think of the whole picture. Yeah. So if people do mean 1 stall, 2 stall, 3 stall, 4, say that then. Yeah. Yeah. Be clear. Be clear. And that is important for a lot of people, because I think the wordings are used wrong. They say market's going to 1 stall. No, it doesn't seem right. It don't work that way.
It's just dishonesty, isn't it, from the council?
It's dishonesty.
Be honest.
But we've seen that time and time again. Right, and then, so we've took that. Now, what it is, I want to take it on to the wording is. We've got a lot of soundbite words out there now, it's floating around, and we want to use a phrase now, which is a social space. What does social space mean to you in relation to the market? If you like to start, Stan, you go first.
Well, it's a public space where anyone and everyone can come. You meet people there. There's cafes there. There's the famous Upton. Is it called Upton Park Fish and Chip Shop? Yeah. You know what I mean, where you can sit down and eat your chips and have a cup of tea. It's even if you haven't got any money, you can still go to the market, meet people, like find out if your favourite mangoes are coming, or your melons, whatever. It's one of those places where anyone and everyone is attracted to. Like, take the Sunday market, for example. It's massive. Now, people in our borough haven't got lots of money, and you can buy second-hand clothes. There's other kinds of second-hand electrical goods. If you haven't been to the Sunday market, you should come. It's fantastic. There's all sorts of things being sold, and people come from miles around for the Sunday market. They do, because it's very, very different to Monday to Friday, Saturday market. It's a special thing, and people should come and experience it if you haven't been to the Sunday market.
Khadija, what's your view on social space?
To me, a social space is a public space where people can congregate together. So, but also at any age. So from 15 to 50 to 60 to 70. And it's where there's not a lot of like third spaces left where 5-year-olds do mix with 50-year-olds. Like there aren't that many places where you can meander in that way and have conversations that you might not usually fall into. And I do think markets facilitate that. So to me, a social space is where we can all mix and learn from each other in ways that just feel organic and natural. And it's not like, this is an icebreaker. Yeah. What do you do? Like, it's more like, oh, I saw you last week. Oh, hello again. And how relationships can grow like over really subtle interactions like that. So a place that allows for those interactions.
It's the subtleties. It's the micro little, eye contact, it's a bit of smile and a bit, even a little bit of banter between customer and trade and what have you, and traders. That does make it all.
And a bit more personable than actual shops. Like I know that if I forgot my purse and went to one of our lovely traders, Wesley, he would give me my food because he knows I'll be back. So
the next day.
Well, but to me, a social space is where there is that trust between people.
It's
in
a
way
good space.
That you can't really have with corporations.
It's true. It is. I mean, the things. It's very. Supermarkets to me, it just seems very transactional, very, very very sanitized environment. People don't make eye contact. They go in there, the lighting's in such a way that it just wants to channel you through. They've worked out psychologically how we shop.
Supermarkets, they've got a place, obviously, they feel a need. But the market's got its place as well, and it fills a need that not many other places can fill. Supermarkets are fine. You want to go get your basics, whatever it is. They're open late. The market obviously shuts at 6 o'clock. But I'd say the market is more important than a supermarket. Supermarkets are 2 a penny, but now we've only got Queen's Market left. We had East Ham Market, which was fantastic. Obviously, Rathbone Street Market is gone. So, we got to love our market and look after it and fight for it.
And social spaces encourage entrepreneurship. Like, we wouldn't have guys like, I'm not a fan, but like Alan Sugar, people, they come out of markets.
They do.
You're not going to become an Alan Sugar, unfortunately, with a part-time job at Tesco's.
I've said that for years, that it's a space that we need young minds to create their product, take it a stall, show it to people and see whether it sells. I have no idea why universities haven't tapped onto that. We talk about young entrepreneurs all the time, the next, invention, the next, whatever it is, next game. Why haven't we got a section, a store where youngsters can go in there just to bring them in and they become part of the mosaic of people that's in there? I have no idea why they keep missing out on these things. Pauline, you're sitting all quietly taking it all in.
I'm just
social space to you.
Social space. Well, I never thought of the market as a social space, but when we started campaigning, along came all sorts of academic people, sociologists, geographers, and they told us it was a social space. And of course, we realized that's exactly what it is. You do meet people. You see people you haven't seen for years. And the other thing is, technically it's a highway, and that means it is a very public space. And you've got people, vulnerable people, who just tend to kind of spend most of their day in the market, and traders will buy them cups of tea. And it couldn't happen in a supermarket. It couldn't happen in a gated place like Westfield. No. So that's a really important part of it, I think. And yes, about the traders. I mean, one of our traders left a message on WhatsApp with a picture of No, they didn't have a picture of the guy, but they sort of described him and said, has anybody seen him? And somebody texted back, why? He dropped some money here. I'm holding it for him. Now, I can't see that happening at Lidl's, you know.
No.
Not the follow-up inquiry. You know, if you dropped your money, I can see it would be handed into the office.
Well, that's not a judgment.
People wouldn't be proactive, you know, and tell them they've lost their money.
And that's not a judgment of Lidl customers either.
No.
Or any supermarket.
Or any supermarket.
Yeah.
But we do have a lot of, you know, homegrown earthy traders who are, you know, principled on the, you know, most of the time, because I think we're all the time, because they like to protect their customers as well from, you know, unscrupulous people. So it's quite a family there, you know, and that takes years to build, because they have to trust each other as well. Everybody has their opinions in there, but yet they still work together. They function together. And right, we're gonna take a break now, and we're gonna come back in a couple of minutes, and yeah, we could have a bit of a break and cool down and maybe have a cup of tea. Take care now.
Minhaj Sisters UK are proud to
Imagine a
host their
world
biannual
where
retreat.
every young mind is given the chance to flourish and thrive. Thanks to your kind donations, this dream can become a reality this Ramadan. Minhaj Welfare Foundation is the driving force behind over 600 educational institutions and have provided over 250,000 scholarships. With only £15 per month or £160 per year, you can pay for a student's education, shaping futures and creating a world where education is not a luxury, but a right for all. The donor will receive an education progress report. To donate your zakat, sadaqah or charitable donations, visit your local MW 7JS. Call us on 01282 723 455 or visit our website at www.minhajwelfare.org. Stay connected on Facebook, Instagram and Twitter for the latest videos and updates.
अस्सलामु अलैकुम। सर्दियों में फ्लू और कोविड-19 ज्यादा आसानी से फैलते हैं और आपको सख्त बीमारी का शिकार बना सकते हैं, मगर फ्लू और कोविड-19 की वैक्सीन बहुत बड़ा फर्क ला सकती हैं। ये आपको महफूज रखती हैं और बीमारी से बचने में बेहतर तरीके से मदद करती हैं। इसलिए अगर इन सर्दियों में आपको ये वायरसेस लगते भी हैं, तो आपको हल्के सिम्टम्स होंगे और आप जल्द सेहतयाब हो जाएंगे और आपके हॉस्पिटल में दाखिल होने के चांसेस भी कम हो जाएंगे। अगर आप प्रेग्नेंट हैं या आपको कोई लंबी बीमारी है जैसे कि सांस की बीमारी या फिर लंग्स के
Did you know
product
product misuse is the leading cause of
सर्दियों में
accident?
फ्लू और कोविड-19 ज्यादा आसानी से फैलते हैं और आपको सख्त बीमारी का शिकार बना सकते हैं, मगर फ्लू और कोविड-19 की वैक्सीन बहुत बड़ा फर्क ला सकती हैं। ये आपको महफूज रखती हैं और बीमारी से बचने में बेहतर तरीके से मदद करती हैं। इसलिए अगर इन सर्दियों में आपको ये वायरसेस लगते भी हैं, तो आपको हल्के सिम्टम्स होंगे और आप जल्द सेहतयाब हो जाएंगे और आपके हॉस्पिटल में दाखिल होने के चांसेस भी कम हो जाएंगे। अगर आप प्रेग्नेंट हैं या आपको कोई लंबी बीमारी है जैसे कि सांस की बीमारी या फिर लंग्स, किडनी, लिवर या कोई दूसरी बीमारी, या फिर आपका बच्चा 2 या 3 साल का है, तो आप अपनी एलिजिबिलिटी चेक करें और अपनी वैक्सीन nhs.uk/winter vaccination पर ऑनलाइन बुक करें। वैक्सीन हासिल कीजिए और अपने आप को मजबूत कीजिए। शुक्रिया।
Revive FM
94.0 on the radio
on your mobile.
and online. This is
Revive FM
94.0 with the latest news from around the world. This is Revive FM 94.0.
reviving communities.
The views expressed on this program do not necessarily represent those of Revive FM or its management.
somewhere I'm not quite sure about, as well as Brazilian mangoes and Bengali mangoes. You know, they're all coming in, so they can shift according to demand. That's the beauty of these stalls.
Well, I've seen a variety. I've seen a variety in the Afghan nut fruit stall.
The nut man, he's fantastic.
And he's doing olives now.
He's doing olives. He's doing dried fruit.
Olives. I bought a load.
He always wants to give you a sample before you buy.
Yeah.
You don't get that in a supermarket.
No. And then he charges me afterwards the following week. You know, thinking I might have forgotten.
Just to jump onto that social anchor thing as well, I think it also represents like an area, because I know that when I moved to Brum and then came back, it was nice that Queen's Market was just there. There are certain things like when you go to Westminster, no one's going to get rid of Big Ben, are they?
No.
There are certain things that literally you think of the area and you think of that space.
Yeah.
For us, it's Queen's Market. For every area, it's going to be a different thing. So to me, unanchoring such a like cemented thing in the culture where we all live in London. London changes every 5 minutes, and it always has. But we've always had social anchors. So it's strange that we're starting to erode at the things that make our places iconic.
Yeah. I mean, the thing is, I think with social anchors, I mean, you know, correct me on this, but I think that sometimes if I get out in Westminster, I don't get a sort of an emotional link with it. But when I get off at Upton Park or to come by, but even if I'm driving by or going by in a bus, I still want to look that way, and I get an emotional attachment with that space. So, you know, I have asked other people, and it's a fact, and it's a warmly feeling. And I've been to Westminster many times. I don't get that, but it's just a structure, it's just a building. So, although it's supposed to house democratic powers, that's another show itself.
Allegedly.
Is there anything you want to talk about your mangoes, Stan? You know,
No, I mean, you know what? People go to the market to talk about mangoes.
But they do, and that's the beauty of it, though. They go out and talk about it. They just need a reason.
You know, depending on
things.
what mangoes are there. Are they from Pakistan? Are they from India? Are they from Bangladesh? Are they from Egypt? Are they from Brazil?
But the thing is, even the textile stuff that's there, the textile stores we got there. Do you know we've never mentioned the bag, you know, and the purses. I can't remember what his name is.
The bag man, the one who's been there 25 years.
Yeah, there's a few of them. I don't think you should.
No, I'm just sort of saying we've never really mentioned them because we have people selling bags, you know, quality bags. I mean, would normally cost a fortune if it was in other markets. We've never really spoke about textiles, and yet textiles, some of them, the haberdasheries, a lot of them have closed up because the rag trade has closed up, and it's only small businesses or home business people doing it for themselves that want to get that stuff, you know, these products. Otherwise they'd have to travel miles to get it.
Yeah.
You know? So
one of the many reasons that people come to our market is the cloth stalls, the cloth on the rolls, because people make their own clothes.
Yeah.
People come from miles around because you can't get that at a decent, affordable price anymore. People come from miles around to buy the cloth on the rolls.
And do you know what? It's actually quite a big selection.
It is a big selection, yeah.
I was actually quite surprised with myself. And I remember some people taking some pictures.
Khadija, go on, you wanted to say something.
But it's also the social aspect, because like it's whether it's mangoes or textiles, you want to be able to talk to people about this stuff. It's not as fun being as creative if you are just not locked, but you know, in your own luxury flat by yourself. Like there's fun in actually being like, oh, I made this last week. What did you do? I did this with the textiles. What did you do with mangoes? Oh, this is how you can tell this is the right mango. Let me pass this knowledge down to you. There's something quite like connective about doing stuff like that. And I think everyone's becoming a bit more alienated and lonely. So we shouldn't lose sight that these things are important.
And that is very, very important.
Let me go back to mangoes. That's just reminded me. Mangoes and melon are medicinal as well.
They are.
A friend of mine, Anne-Marie, she's been a bit under the weather, and her partner, Bravo, said, look, you've got to eat some mango and you've got to eat some melon. And she's on the up now. She's on the up. I'll give her a ring later, see how it's going.
Do you know what? I didn't know the market actually was a pharmacy, to tell you the truth.
Well, I mean, all the different herbs that they sell. I mean, dill.
Coriander, parsley.
Dill, I think they call
the
it
spring onions are
They call it
fantastic.
senf in India, and I think particularly if you've had a baby, it's handy. Not that that applies to you right now, Santa, or is likely to, but
Well, you never know.
Things. Oh, and aloe vera. You can actually get the leaves and somehow squash the stuff out of them if you know how.
Yeah,
it's really.
You can get real vanilla from the market.
And the important thing is you can get a really decent cup of Italian coffee now.
Okay.
Yeah, we've got a little cafe. The guy who runs it is actually originated in Bangladesh, but the family was in Italy for years and years. And the Italians aren't going to let you come over and make what you think is coffee. You've got to make it their way. And he makes brilliant Italian coffee. And so reasonable too.
Yeah. So we've got a mixed culture come over there in one package.
Absolutely.
So we've got a carrier. We've got a Bengali that's carrying a culture, Italian culture, right, in its cooking, patisseries, in his coffee. So it's carried it with him. So we've got people that are transporting things, across the world. So and they're ending up there. That is a fantastic sort of way. That I think that's what the market stands for. I mean, we're getting foods from places that we've never seen. I've never seen half of the bloody foods out there. They've got all these colours, bright colours. Sadly, I have not come across them. And somebody said, prickly pears. Somebody said to me, don't hold them in your hand. And I thought, what the heck? And it's only when I got home I realised, because I was scratching my hands, because it actually does get into your skin, and I thought, really? Then somebody told me how to cut them and everything else. But I'll be honest with you, it wasn't my favourite fruit. But
and just to jump on what Pauline said, just about like the cultural crossroads of all the things you can just find randomly at the market. I think that's because of something you also said, which is that how the market is situated. It's not like a shop with aisles that tell you where you have to look. You get to meander and then fall across stuff that you never would have usually.
Do you know what? I think people love to search for things as well. It's like foraging, and that's what they're doing when they go in the market. Just forage for things, it gives them touchy tactile thing. They love all that. And I think the stores provide that. You take something off a shelf, you can't communicate with a shelf in the supermarket, but you take something from a store, you communicate with the person. You can have a conversation. But one thing I've noticed that come sort of when the market's closing, instead of them want to box it all back because they're just tired, they'd rather just either give it away or they sell it half the price that it already is.
Yeah, at the end of the day.
So people are going with bags full of fruit and bananas.
And it does make you realise what a lifeline the market is, because some of the people have held back with their shopping. They're coming along for 3 bags for £1. That is really they're saving a few bob on their household budget. And that is so important,
Yeah, but to the family. I mean, especially when I hear about, this cap on child welfare, 2 children cap. I mean,
you only get benefits for 2 children. It's ridiculous.
It's absolutely madness. So how do they stretch that money? How do they do it? And you've got mortgages and rents and
everything's going up. It's gone up.
So, how do they do it? And the thing is, as I said, the market does provide the lifeline. Remember this, we had COVID. And
you go to the market at the end of the day at 6 o'clock, right? People are queuing up to buy the reduced fruit and veg. Queuing up.
I agree. I want to come back to it. But as I said, and it's been pointed out that when COVID was around, the markets, Queen's Market, didn't price gouge.
No, right? The prices stayed the same. And they still provided the big corporate retailers had empty shelves. Yeah, they were running out of stuff.
And it was on the national news.
Yeah.
But yet our market still kept going. Now,
And they have a good ethos on food in general, like we're talking about it being a lifeline at the end of the day, doing the cheaper discounts for everyone.
Yeah.
There are some stores that will just get rid of all of that produce. Just they know that people are suffering. So the fact that people that obviously care about profit and they're entrepreneurs, they're still trying to make a bit of bob, but they still have the ethos that this food shouldn't go to waste. And that's the kind of ethos that we should have more of in like our
I mean, listen,
I used to help out at a food bank, and we used to get our fruit and veg from the market on a Tuesday evening, and they always gave us a good deal.
Yeah.
Because on the Wednesday, we'd cook a lunch and give food out. They always gave us a good deal. They even used to let us park our car in the market because we used to buy a lot, you know, boxes full of stuff.
But the thing is, the market does provide this, and I don't know whether they feel it's a moral duty. Don't know. Do they feel as if they need to do? Do they feel as if they themselves are in the market?
Well, it's being part of a community, isn't it? And you're related to everyone else.
Yeah.
You know, we're all in it together.
Yeah.
And we help each other.
They have to interact with their customers in a closer way than I think normal business owners have to. So because they've created those relationships, of course they're going to care.
Yeah.
A lot more.
And because people talk to the traders, you know, they'll just pass the time of day if the traders aren't busy. You can see that. So the traders are getting a feel of what's going on, what's bugging people. You know, Neil, when he was here, used in the market, used to do marriage guidance counselling, you know. I don't know what's got into him, Neil.
Tell the listeners who Neil is, Pauline.
Well, one of our many lovely traders, you know, retired now. But so many, you know, we've got so many good traders. Yes, and for me, it's easy to refer to them by name, although I think it confuses people.
So it's providing nourishment for the body.
Yeah.
It's providing nourishment for the mental state,
medicine,
mental well-being. So it's. I say again, can that fabric of mishmash be recreated once it's gone? And that's exactly as it. No, it can't. So how do they expect, you know, to say, call it a market afterwards, say we're going to provide the market will stay, when it has so many advantages?
They're conflating different issues. Like we were talking about how things are passed down and we learn from things in the market, like holistic remedies, let's say. Like, let's say a trader's like, oh, you're feeling like this, you should try and mix these two things together. For some people, replacing that store with a skincare, expensive, sustainable store that most people in Newham can't afford the products is the same thing. But it's not the same thing as someone passing down like wisdom that you can actually afford to buy these products. It's quite very different things, and I think a lot of the time they're trying to convince us that it's the same thing.
Yeah.
But you know, the people of Newham have cottoned on to the fact that they know what they need, and they know what they want. They're being told what they should do and be happy with.
Yeah, I think we're starting to wake up to a lot of people are. They want to give us what they think that we want, not what we really need, you know, for our whole psyche.
And I think too, people are being sold. The council tries to sell people a dream about luxury flat owners. You know, if they come into the market, think how much money they'll spend. But the real truth is that they don't spend money here. In fact, I know one coffee bar that opened up, and it's a very nice coffee bar, in the hope of attracting people from the West Ham ground, which has had lots of luxury flats built on it. And all the locals used it because it was a nice place where you could hang around with cushions and so on. But none of the rich people who bought into the West Ham ground went there. They don't drink their coffee in the locality. You know, it's where they sleep, or where they don't even sleep. They rent out to make sub-rent to make more money, or leave empty as an investment. So, you know, it's damaging. It doesn't keep this idea of you can redevelop the market and business will flow on as usual. No, sadly, no. You can actually see that at East Ham, where these posh shops at the bottom of the flats are empty.
Yeah.
You know, people have got more sense than to pay the inflated rent because they know they're not going to get the customers. Very sad, actually.
I mean, I've been hearing a hell of a lot of rumours and expressions of when it's concerning Westfield. They said if we're going to go to Stratford and pay that sort of money, I might as well go to the city. So Westfield isn't the panacea of shopping experiences. That's all gone now. They use it as more of a walkthrough, as just a walkthrough and experience. But shopping,
most Newham people can't afford to buy things at Westfield unless it's like Sports Direct or I don't know, Primark. I mean, most of those shops are too expensive.
I've
seen new shopping centre.
I've seen people walk through there, and I must admit, I stopped and had a pint, and I spoke to people, and I said, you know, do you come in here often? He said, no, we just want to see what it's like. I said, would you do it? He said, no. So they wouldn't do it because there is nothing there that's keeping them there. You know, it's just space that really you just can't get attached to it. There's no emotional sort of, and the people are so far, they're going on a journey or whatever it is, but there's no contact.
It's quite fast paced.
It's very fast paced.
In some of the more fancier shops, sometimes they can kind of make you feel a bit alienated in there in a way where I think markets are a lot more welcoming to anyone, whether you're working class all the way up to like upper middle class. They just kind of have a blanket statement. This is how we're going to treat everyone. Whereas I think places like Westfield have that like transient thing about wealth signalling of oh well, you look like you can afford to be here or you don't. So I'm literally going to treat you based on what I think about that.
So how do you think, or maybe it's already in place, that we could get more children involved in the market, get them coming through? They're doing it now, but how can we increase that so that we could sort of say, you know, we could, you know, show them that there's the other side of when the food comes, it comes on your table, it comes through people that bring it from wherever they bring it from, and the different types of fruit. Because a lot of children won't even experience looking at some of the fruit because they might think it's too expensive. People may not buy it. So how do we get them in the market? I mean, you know, are they coming in the market? You know, it's
coming in the market with their mums and dads shopping.
No, but
also, so the schools do take
they do
parties of children around. Yes,
fantastic.
I've seen them at the fish stall, absolutely fascinated by the crabs that are moving.
I was going to mention that.
It's fascinated and alarmed.
But I must admit, though, if you go there on a winter's evening, early evening, and you stand there, trust me, it's a different world. You think you're in a different world. The colours, they just hit you in the face.
The fishmongers in the market are fantastic. You know, if you eat any kind of fish.
I've seen pictures, people taking pictures of stalls. You would not believe that you think there's some bazaar in another country. It's absolutely fantastic. And you can put these pictures on a wall. You know, and I've got some, which it was your friend that took the picture, sent it to me, and I'm going to print them up.
Was that Jesse?
Jesse, yeah, fantastic. So, where does art come from if it doesn't come from our communities?
It does.
We produce the art out of our hands by this putting the fruit in its way, textiles. There's a picture. She took a picture of textiles and a scarf. I mean, you would think that somebody drew that the way that the picture was taken. And that was done on, you know, I don't know. I've been around that market most of my life, so I'm a bit biased. But I think it's a nice place to go, you know. And I'm a sort of person who's quite comfortable in that environment. I like it a bit of hustle bustle, but over there. But I like to be able to feel that I could walk into it, get wrapped up in it, and then walk out of it, still within the same space. You know, whereas if you go in a supermarket, you're in that space. That's all you're gonna get.
And those places are devoid of culture. I think the greatest thing about Queen's Market is when you look at it from afar, like objectively, it looks like this perfect example of like social cohesion as well. Like so many different people from different places, kind of like with quite the same morals and ethics about stuff. And I think that is where art and culture comes from a lot of the time. And whether those kinds of people get to profit off of it is another story for another day. But the point is, it is the birthplace of culture. So if you're trying to eradicate the birthplace of culture, where do you expect it to pop up from? Do we want everything to look sterile and kind of like you're in the waiting room with the doctors? Because that's how I feel when I'm in Tesco's, and no hate to Tesco's, it's just that's sterile. And when you look at the flats they're building, they also look like that. And then you think, does everything have to?
It's a very individual way, isn't it? It's a very individualistic sort of thing. Everything, your flats, it's like you're in a pigeon coop, and it's like you've got that mentality, just go through, get what you want, and walk straight back out of it. I've been standing, there's you pay yourself machine. People hardly talk to each other, and that is not. I've never experienced that before, and markets don't do that. You could go there, you can have a chat, you could just sit there. You don't have to do anything really, too true.
Which is worrying for someone like me, like getting older. Like I don't want to talk to the Robocop version of the traders in 20, 60, 70. I don't want that. That sounds very, very lonely to me.
So you've been described as a superwoman by Khadija in the past. If you had the powers, what would you do to get that market, as you wanted it? What would you do if you had the power to do it? Would you get more engagement? Would you get more this? Would you just get new management, throw the management out and just get on with it and go around with your cake changing light bulbs and everything else? What would you do?
Yeah, you're really talking about a dream world here, I'm afraid.
We're all walking in the dream.
You've got to have a dream.
We haven't got a government or a council anywhere that listens to the people. But obviously, you'd want the people to be running the market, perhaps a trader and a shopper cooperative.
Yeah,
that would be one way that their ideas would get listened to. Well, right now, we just like them to finish the job, do the repairs, fix the roof, get rid of the pigeons. And then you don't need to, this is what the council don't realise, you don't need to have a problem for improving or changing the market. The market improves and changes itself because traders are here to sell stuff.
Yeah.
And they look and see what's in demand, and demands change. So all the time, the same store will have different stuff on it. New stores will come along. So we always get this thing from the council. Why aren't they selling oil paintings? Why aren't they selling more bric-a-brac? Because people don't want oil paintings or bric-a-brac, Why aren't they selling books? Well, sadly, it's all digital these days, or mostly digital, So leave the market alone. It will self-renew. It will change. But when I say leave it alone, the structure needs repair, maintenance. Now, maintenance is all that's needed. Maintain the roof.
Pauline, do you know what it is? We're forgetting the shops. We've got shops.
82 of them.
82 shops.
Some of them have leaky roofs, a lot going on in the structure of some of those shops. But
think about the products they've got in there. Who do they cater for? You've got black women, Asian women, whatever women, they've got their own power. They're empowered to do the hairdressing, their nail this, selling products, selling this. They've got it there. This is what we wanted. The market gives what the government said that we should be doing. Is empowering, BAME communities to be entrepreneurial, right? To train the next generation, give them something. If we're going to deal with a lot of problem with youth, we've got to empower the parents, right, to be fantastic role models, and then we've got to create more role models. And if they're shown that they could create a business in a market, I mean, what perfect sort of site is that? You've got black businesses that are working. The black pound If you're going to do it in Queen's Market because it's there. It's real. It's happening. I don't get it. I don't understand that.
I should add to what you're saying, Sam, that there are at least 2 graduates in business studies. And you might think, well, to have a degree in business studies and come to Queen's Market, is that a quote waste of a degree? But absolutely not. Everything, all the useful bits of what they learn, they're putting into practice. Their literacy means that they can argue back when the council tries tricks to do with the rent and things.
Exactly.
So obviously there's a place for people who left school at 14, like a lot of our older traders did. There's also a place for the educated ones, the graduates.
The market is meant for everybody, whatever level of physical, abilities you have, mental abilities, is open for everybody. I have a problem that we're not getting it through. We're not getting them in there sometimes because we're not allowing them that space. We have, I don't know what other shop we. So we've got the hairdressers are now. We've got the fish shops. We've got meat shops. We've got what else we got?
We got everything.
But
I got to go back to the African hairdressers because they're legendary.
Absolutely.
People come from miles to get their hair done.
Yeah.
To get hair products. A friend of mine, African man, he moved to China, and he comes back once a year or something to visit. And he came back once, and we had something to eat on East Ham High Street. And then he said, I got to go to the market. I got to get some stuff from the market. I said, what do you mean? He says, for my hair, because I can't get it in China. I always used to get it from the market. So he went to the market. He got his hair stuff. He was really happy. He had a chat with the shopkeeper because I hadn't seen each other for ages. So even if you move to China, there's stuff, you think you can get everything in China, but you can't get everything there. And you have to come back to our market.
And that's what it's all about, though, isn't it?
Yeah.
You always end up somehow, sooner or later, coming back. Yeah. And it's like, when they say coming over to pigeons all come back, whatever come back, people come back, children come back. Everybody comes back to a point.
Well, the pigeons do come back, but we wish that they didn't come back.
In a friendly way.
Yeah, in a friendly way.
Yeah.
And those businesses serve the community I know that I wish I could walk into any hairdresser and get my hair done, but I can't. So if all those hairdressers disappear, where am I supposed to go to get my hair done?
Well, would you say that the market can be used as a barometer of the types and of cultures we've got there? So in other words, if we've got like hairdressers that we know that and they're doing well, that there's a market for them, is growing, the population of that is growing out there.
Yeah.
So the market can provide that. I don't understand why isn't the council ever opened up some sort of a booth in there where somebody can go in there and put proposals forward. They can have a chat with people, say, look, we need to do that with the market, that with the market. They need to do that.
I think it comes down to how they view Newham people.
Yeah, but I think it would, on the whole, I think the review will be quite positive.
It would be. It'd be amazing. There's so many people with good ideas. I mean, we sit here week after week chucking stuff like that.
But I agree with Khadija. It is how the council looks at people. First of all, they think we're stupid, or they think we're awkward, or we're antisocial, or we shouldn't be allowed, or all the rest of it.
To have the final say.
I think
they catch this from the government,
Well,
cracking down on this and cracking down on that.
Well, I think what it is, from my experience of local government, is that there is this, if we give the public any sense of control, power, then they lose that themselves. By us, them maintaining it, then we're always on.
But they're only there to represent us.
They're
meant to stand up for us, for our best interests.
Absolutely.
They're not there for themselves.
Nope.
We're meant to live in a democracy, We elect them to represent our best interests. But
it feels like we're in a transient stage of that now, though. That doesn't feel like they're representing our best interests. So I don't know what you would call that. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm a bit I'm very critical of what's going on out there. I don't think we're listened to. I think we've been told we're not listened to, and these people who go into what I call local administration, they don't come out of a skill base. They're not trained in anything. A lot of these people, they don't come from some sort of training. I think some of them don't. I mean, I spoke to some, and they've never come out of any training.
Yeah.
You know, so how can they apply their skills to outside? You know, I've got to.
They need the psychological safety at work to not be in trouble if they do bring in stuff.
Yeah.
And so that they can listen to the public without repercussions.
Well, I think you're touching on something much, much wider, though. And
Maybe.
Yeah, I mean, it's to do with the civil service.
Yeah.
With the sociological.
I was trying not to put that in there because too big. Yeah.
Cultures. Yeah.
Too much for me to handle.
I'd sooner be in the market, buying some food.
Absolutely. I mean, the thing is, I don't know. I don't know why the council somehow detach, but I think the council detach themselves from a lot of things because they don't want to make their judgment based on emotional judgments. And I don't know what else they're governed by. I don't know who they're influenced, but sometimes I don't believe our mayor is actually influenced by.
Come on.
There is a little thing like
our councillors detached from us, the people, the community. We put them there.
Yes. I think maybe that's the problem.
I think we should get back to talking about the market because look,
we love the market.
You're on all sorts of thorny issues, like the role of big money.
Get the pigeons out.
It's true. But yeah, I think what it is, the market, no matter how we look at things, no matter what happens, no matter what problems we have, we will always need a market. Doesn't matter whether the councils are incompetent, stupid, or whether that's incompetent. We will still need a market just to sit there for 5 minutes, have a coffee or a tea and have a cornflake. We still need a market. I've been to the East Ham indoor, and it's not doing what it's supposed to do. I've been to Rathbone Street many times. It's just not doing anything. All I see is this massive block of concrete and these big old cars parked there. If that's what we're going to do, we're going to turn everything into a gated community. This is individualism, right? You know, then where are we going? Where are we going with this? Then, you know, we're on the way to a hiding because, you know, who is Stephaniah? Was it Stephaniah's name?
Benjamin Zephaniah.
And he said, people need people. His words were people need people. Without people, we're not people. People need to make. So he made
life appealing and give life some meaning. It's useful to have other people.
That's right. So that epitomizes the market for me. The Stephaniahs have the skill to be able to do it. I'm still alive now. I'd have him in here giving us a whole load of poems around the market.
Yeah, he was a patron of the market campaign.
Yeah.
It's why solitary confinement is a punishment.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, you need other people.
But somehow we got open confinement, you know, which is like a mental confinement, you know.
But it's not going to happen because resistance starts somewhere.
It does.
And resistance has paid off in other places. And I think that the market can be saved, kept, improved for the future generations.
Well, I mean, I know I'm going to take this slightly off a little tack, but Clapton Community Club, that was an underrun, a football club, just around the corner from the studio, and it's taken on by a group of people, and it's run as a community asset program, and they're all doing it voluntarily, but yet the ground's there. People are benefiting. People are using it. People are using it for their own. It can be done, you know, if people want to keep it that way. If people want to improve on it, land does not have to go to private developers. We have got to stop this because sooner or later it will catch up, and then we'll be saying we told you so. But then it's too late. Land needs to be kept in private, public ownership. and the private need to be kept out. They've had enough bite of this.
Not for profit.
Not for, well, you know, everybody's hearing stories about blocks that are left empty, you know, housing that's needed and social housing that's needed, and everything, all our silverware has been sold off. At the end of it, we still need our market, and that market is doing a purpose. I mean, when I go there, I'll be honest with you, it's like as if, you know, it's a welcoming space, you know, and it's a nice space. It could do with a little bit of, you know, touch ups here. It's a 100-year sort of being that just needs a little bit of improvement. So I think no matter what happens out there, we need to maintain the market. It has a purpose, it has a place. And if it can be done for a football club, it can be done for a market. And remember, the council spend money on a community asset program. They spend the money. So, you know, I think the council need to take a good look at, you know, what they have on that. And I think it's a jewel in the crown. When planners,
the market is part of us.
When the planners talk about, you know, space, and they talk about development, and talk about even educating themselves, they actually refer to Queen's Market because it's the only one left in that sort of state. It's the only one. So they refer to it. We can't do this hybrid market. I don't know what hybrid cars used to fail.
Yeah, they've got to stop using language to try and confuse us, because as we know in Newham, there's so many languages spoken. We're witty wordsmiths, so it's a waste of time.
It's a waste of time. Right, we're going to take a break for a couple of minutes, and we'll come back a little bit later. Thank you very much.
तकरीबन 60 मिलियन प्राइमरी स्कूल जाने वाले बच्चे इस वक्त स्कूल में दाखिल नहीं हैं। मयारी तालीम की फराहमी से पसमानदा बच्चे